Hey, hey, hey. There's enough already, and I'm Jesse James, and you can call me Jesse. Oh, so since the last few episodes, we've talked about a lot of things. So I'm gonna try to stay focused on my book this this go around. Granted, there are a ton of things in the news. Oh, AOC and Omar and Trump went to China, and oh my God, the list goes on. And if you're watching on TV or you're watching on your smart device, everybody's talking about the same thing. Everybody. Very little coverage on the planes that went down. U.S. Air Force lost the plane, pilot ejected. 11 survivors off the coast of Florida. Uh, AOC and her word salads, and Omar and the fraud in Minnesota, and the 10 states that are being investigated right now by Vice President J.D. Vance for fraud, which I added up just what they were guessing or they actually uncovered, and we're nearly at $1 trillion. That's just 10 states, nearly at that $1 trillion. Imagine if they just stop paying all these states this federal tax money, which is your money, your money, your money, your money, yes, your money, and yours, and mine. We keep saying, oh, taxpayers, the taxpayer. We are the taxpayers. When you get a check, they take the taxes out of your check. They don't ask you, you don't donate it, they take it. And then they piss it away somewhere. Or you have fraud, massive fraud. This has been going on for decades, and no one has done anything about it. No one. And the states that are claiming, like Minnesota and California, oh, we've been working on this for a decade. Okay, so why do you have so much fraud? I mean, Virginia, 1.3 billion, and it's probably more like 10 billion. it, it you all do know where the capital of the United States is at, right? It's in Virginia. When everyone decides to get their heads out of their ass and start looking at this the way it should be looked at, things are going to be so much better. Oh my gosh. Uh, if you take the fraud out of the 50 states, okay, and stop supplementing the stupidity and get rid of the cookie jar, because everybody's hand is in the cookie jar. Oh, I got to get the cookie. I got to get the cookie. Our national debt will be actually budgeted, and there might actually be a surplus. Really. I mean, if you and I had $100,000 budget for the year and we spent $200,000, how long do you think it'll be before everything just comes crashing down on us because we're overspending $100,000 a year? 2, 3, 4 years? All hell breaks loose. Now think about it. The United States government, the budget is roughly around $4 trillion a year. Didn't used to be that. Probably 2.5 trillion, a safe number. And we're spending 7 to 9 trillion. At some point, it's going to come crashing down. I don't care who you are. I don't care what country you are. Um, and then you take God out of the equation. You're doomed. The Bible says that great nations will fall. Powerful nations will fall. Last I checked, we were the greatest nation in the world, and we were the most powerful nation in the world. And we're falling. We're failing. At some point, we have to wake up. That's why I wrote the book, American Christian Survival Guide. It is more than a survival guide. It is not a cookbook, and it's not a gardening book. It gets down to the nitty gritty. Okay. Like, how many rolls on average does one person use a year toilet paper? Then multiply that by a family of 4, family of 6. How much water you need? You need 32 ounces a day to survive. Of course, you can go 3 days without any water before you die. But that's to survive, not to live. That's just to stay alive. I've calculated that all down for you in specific numbers. How much you need, how much it takes to shower, not in the shower pretext. Oh, excuse me, got indigestion. Not shower that you take now, where you just get in there and turn the hot water on. By the way, hot water is bad for your body, your skin. Cold showers, cold baths, that's the way to go. But I explain that as well in detail. How to prep chickens, type of foods, rabbits, how to hunt, how to fish, what you need. Everything is in the book. I mean, it's a real survival guide. Now, granted, the average person is going to understand my book, American Christian Survival Guide, which is being published by Dorrance Publishing Company, 120-year-old publishing company out of Pennsylvania. Yeah. They agreed to do it. They're doing it. It should be out late summer, early fall this year, 2026. And please, you can get it hard copy, soft copy. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it PDF. Whatever you do, get it. Read it several times. Start practicing what's in the book. Listen, I know everybody has this ideology that, oh, everything is fine. We're never going to be without power. We're never going to be without cell phone service. That's not true. Okay. All you have to do is look at history, look at the places that didn't have cell phone service that Elon Musk sent Starlink to, the places that didn't have power, that some places still don't have power. Okay. Look at the disasters that have taken place in the United States and around the world right now, today, and understand that what you have is not forever. In one split moment, a tornado, a flood, a hurricane, an earthquake, a sinkhole, and the list goes on, mudslide, an avalanche, it can be gone. Poof, gone. No more. Then what do you do? And hopefully nobody is caught up in it. Hopefully you don't lose any loved ones. But it happens. And you need to be prepared for this. What to do, when to do it, how to do it. All these manicured lawns. When I was growing up back in the Cold War, there was nobody had manicured lawns. Everybody had plants growing, gardens, front yard, backyard. There was chickens, there was cows, there was pigs, there was horses. Um, Good God, I'm trying to think. Goats. There was goats. Um, there was fruit trees. Nobody There was weeds. I mean, nobody had manicured lawns, and the ones that did were extremely elite. Okay, but if you looked in their backyard or the field beside it or the property beside it, you'd find that they had a garden, they had an orchard, they had horses, they had cows, they had pigs, they had chickens, they had pheasant, they had peacocks. Um, they still were in survival mode uh, because, and they had bunkers. Everybody I knew growing up had an underground bunker or shelter, doomsday type of stuff, like the bombs coming, which was what we were all scared of. You know, we were going to get bombed anytime, any minute. This went on until 1993 when the Cold War ended and we found peace in the country. Thank God for Ronald Reagan. But anyhow, that's an overview of what's in the book. It's in detail. It explains. It gives you where to look. I give you all the facts. I give you examples. I give you pictures, um, so that you have the knowledge so you can implement it. I'm going to do a follow-up book, kind of like a manuscript, like 150 pages long, to um, simplify some of the more technical things in the book, American Christian Survival Guide, to help the ones that aren't as savvy as others. So huge, 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 huge book of knowledge. It gives you websites. It gives you uh, the FEMA information on where the bomb shelters are, that they're supposed to keep updated and they're supposed to keep stocked. Most of them are no longer in existence or they have been abandoned. They're just sitting there, but they still exist. All right. So a lot of that information is in my book so that you, depending on what state you're in, you can locate those shelters. Some of them are courthouses with basements that are been forgotten, but they're still stocked. Oh yeah, the, a lot of these foods that I discuss in the book, they're good for 100 years, 50 to 100, easy. Non-perishables. Okay, the word non-perishable is self-explanatory. So you would think, but unbelievable. Most Americans don't understand the words non-perishable. Those are canned goods. They were invented for a specific reason, for long-term survival. Yeah. So if you have canned vegetables, canned meats, canned fruits, um, like peaches and apples and pears, and then you have corn hash and you have beef and you have Denny Moore beef stew. All of these are non-perishable. Those foods are good for 25 to 50 years if you know how to store them. So I explain all that in the book. Okay. So stocking up and being able to eat, drink, and survive are the key elements of the book, American Christian Survival Guide. There'll be a follow-up book to take the rough edges off for people that don't understand the technicalities that are in the first book. Although anyone should understand it, but I found that a few don't. So we'll simplify it in the second one so that you can understand it and survive. The whole key is for everyone to survive, to be able to live, keep your family safe, keep your family fed, keep water, keep you water. So there's the 3 rules. Okay, everybody should know them. 3 minutes without air, you die. 3 days without food, you die. 3 days, or excuse me, 3 days without water, you die. What's the third one? A lot of people say, "Oh, I can go 2 months without eating." Oh, okay. If you are extremely fit, don't have any medical issues, that is possible. Jesus himself went 40 days without eating. He's the only person on record that was able to do that. Okay. Most people can only go about 3 months tops. Okay. And then recovering from that, that's a whole nother issue. But those things are in there. I give you all the websites, proof positive fact, not some made up Google site. Okay. But proof positive, proven, research, documented data is in the book. So not only do you have the book, but then you have other places to go to look. Even if the internet goes down, you can go to the library or the Library of Congress. I mean, literally go and pull the documents up, put your hands on them. None of this digital stuff. But you have the best of both worlds until the internet goes down. An EMP, okay, at 30,000 feet will pretty much take out half the United States. You set off 2 of those, the entire United States is out, and so is Canada. It's possible. It is realistic. It could happen any time. They know that there's EMPs in the United States. They're in vans, they're in trucks, they're in hiding. We have so many illegals here now. God only knows what they brought with them. I call them sleeper cells, but I explain all that in the book. So anyways, so now you've got the gist of the book, and we'll continue to talk about in numerous episodes to come. We all know that what's going on in the country with politicians. We know that Trump just went to China. We know AOC is got word salads. She must be taking lessons from, what was that crazy woman that ran for president? Harris. Um, then you got Omar in Minnesota with the fraud. Uh, a couple weeks ago, she was $30+ million millionaire. The next day, she couldn't pay her bills. It was an accounting error. I would love for someone to make an accounting error and give me $30 million in my bank account, because rest assured, I will pull that money out and put it in another bank account, and they will never see it again. Okay. The list goes on of the craziness going on in this country. And the Democrats this year alone has filed lawsuits 800 times against the Trump administration. 800 times. How many billions of dollars have they spent of our money to do this without permission? Virginia, they spent $80 million remapping, jerry-rigging the state, and it got slapped down. They lost in the Supreme Court. $80 million tax dollars without permission. Poof, gone forever. How many people could they have fed with $80 million in this country alone? How many roads could have got fixed and paved? How many libraries could have been funded? How many school children could have gotten a meal? How many textbooks could have been purchased? How many buses could have been repaired? The list goes on. $80 million is a lot of money, and you can do a lot of things with $80 million. But no, the Democrats decided we're going to spend $80 million to jerry rig the state of Virginia so that we can take the Republican seats. And they lost in the Supreme Court because they did it on racism, not, think about this, not on representation. Unconstitutional. And on top of that, the Virginia Constitution itself, the state constitution, they went against it again without a vote. But yet they'll say, oh, 3 million people voted. No. You convinced 3 million people to cheat and lie in their vote without facts. Representation in the United States is clarified in the Constitution. It makes no difference what color you are. It makes no difference what your thought process is. If you have 50% of the population is Republican and 50% is Democrat, and you draw a map, okay, and only give one area representation as a Republican and the rest are Democrat, that is not representation. That is outright fraud. And the word jerry rigging comes from another saying. It is outright fraud, that is lying, that is theft. And that has nothing to do with your creed or your color or your religion. Period. And they know it. And that's why they're so upset. And they continue to lie and gerrymander and jerry rig and file lawsuits with your money, my money, your money, your money, your money, and my money without asking us if that's okay. You need to be calling your senators, your congresspeople, your representatives that you put in office, that you pay to represent you, representation, and tell them, stop it, or enough already, enough already, enough already, enough already, enough already, enough already. Have you had enough already? No, I have. I am so pissed, so upset, and so irritated with this BS going on and the amount of. Do you realize how much time they spend on our dime crying and whining and trying to rig and fraud everything when they actually could take that time to actually do something for us, we the people, the Americans, the taxpayers, the people who are paying their salaries? Explain to me why you haven't had enough already. Put your comments below. Click the like button. Hit the subscribe button. It helps me. It helps you. Until the next time, which won't be long, we'll continue this conversation. Thank you and God bless.